Hello and happy Sunday. As you can see, this is pre-recorded again as we are on a plane in flight. So I am excited to be here talking about something that Stephen and I have really discussed a lot and bears many videos and much conversation, and that is kinesiology. Now, kinesiology, there are literally probably hundreds of ways that you can do kinesiology. And there are certificate courses, there are degree courses, there are many ways of doing it. The key is understanding what the goal is. The goal is to access our inner knowing, to access that guidance that we get from our connection with the Creator. It's not a mental thing. Most of us are very well trained in thinking things out. In fact, as I was drawing my cards for today, it's actually, I have to laugh because things always seem to be a little bit ironic or just kind of fun. Maybe Source just enjoys having fun with me. However, I drew the card air, which is all about, it's the mental, it is the clarity, gaining clarity, blowing away the entities and the false guidance, and blowing in new ideas, new ways of thinking and being. And I love this card. However, the first thing I thought about, since the word that I put at the bottom of this card is clarity, naturally the first thing I thought of was, wow, we need to use clarity today. And then as I thought more, I have the bottle right here, I'll smell it. It is not about mental clarity. It's kinesiology is getting us out of the brain and into the heart so that we truly are bypassing the way that we have been thinking about things previously. For most of us, that is very alien. For a former math teacher who taught deductive thinking, this is very definitely something that is difficult to get out of the rational way of thinking and to move into listening to that guidance, maintaining and allowing that connection with the Source to become stronger and stronger as we move through the changes, as we are evolving. It is extremely important for us to get better and better at listening to our heart, our inner knowledge, rather than rationally thinking things out. When I look back over the past 20 plus years, I realize that the most life-changing, positively life-changing decisions were made not from here, which is the way I used to make all of my decisions, but made from here. Can any of you identify with this? So, as I was thinking about how to present this today, this is not about methods of how to do the kinesiology. That can come later. You can read books, you can watch videos. As I said, there's so many different ways. I teach one particular way primarily in rainbow healing because it is easy to teach and it's pretty definitive. Some are much less definitive in your answers, but it's here. I will even, there is a 2-page thing. I will even get that file onto the Rainbow Healing Cards, the New Life Challenge group. For those of you who are not yet a member of our closed group, all you have to do is just ask to join, and we will be happy to accept you, even though our particular challenge for which we started this group will be ending as of June the 11th. And then those who have taken up the challenge and managed to complete their 30 consecutive days will be sending us their stories by the 30th of June. However, this is a lifelong experience. This is growing actively, refining yourself, and it doesn't end in 30 days. It's not a done deal. We can check off the list because we finished. We will never finish. We are a work in progress. So kinesiology to me is more about understanding the little things from a perspective of our guidance, our heart, our body level knowing, rather than from that rational thinking. So I'm going to first use lavender. No, I'm not. I'm going to first ground using the Sacred Mountain or whatever your favorite grounding oil is. I just love Sacred Mountain for grounding and use it every single day. I consider it the 11th oil in the Rainbow Healing cards when we're using the cards or the Rainbow Healing system. I'm also going to apply the blend acceptance, because as we receive our messages through our kinesiology, it's important that we accept them. As many times the answers that we may receive have nothing to do with what we thought we would receive. And yes, we can, in our minds, we can rationalize. Most of us are extremely good at rationalizing. I certainly would put myself as being proficient in rationalizing, and unlearning these behaviors may be more important than anything else, because we have been conditioned to think and do things in a particular way, which at this point, at this juncture in our lives, may not be the most effective way of being and doing. So we must unlearn so much now. I have a lot more than many of you because I'm older. I have a lot to unlearn. So I am going to focus upon releasing all of the ways, those patterns, those things, those ways of thinking that I had in the past. Many of you know that I've talked about all those years as a math teacher, geometry. I would make my decisions by drawing a line down the center of the page, putting the positives on one side, the negatives on the other, and just look at it. It was a rational choice. However, as I mentioned earlier, the most positive impact on my life have been decisions that I have made from here. Now, how did I get from here to here? Well, that's a journey in itself, which to me, when I do my daily refinement process and go through the journey of the glyphs, the 10 oils and the 10 glyphs, creating my sacred space, that puts me in that space. The thing that truly puts me in the space and actually gets the information is often from my journaling. because as we begin writing and get away from the brain using these oils, the oils will allow us to clear the blocks. The first glyph is about clearing blocks through forgiveness, and that is anchored by geranium essential oil. So applying a lot of that, I have found that I am using a lot of bottles of geranium these days. Geranium and ylang-ylang seem to be the ones that I'm using even more than believe, if you can imagine that. So I am going to pay attention to releasing those old ways of doing things. Now, what would you think might be a nice blend that we would choose? If you guessed release, you're absolutely correct, because release is a mainstay now. And again, it is, for those of you who follow me know that I say over and over again that the oils, the blends of the Feelings collection are absolutely a must. And release is one of those blends. I'm also going to apply lemon, because lemon essential oil is that detoxifying energy that will allow us to release those old ways of doing things, releasing those patterns, gaining the freedom that comes from letting go of old ways of doing things, letting go of stuff, letting go of attachments. Oh, we get so attached to things. Anyone who's ever been in my office knows how attached I am to many things. It's hard to let go. It may be more difficult to let go of ways of doing things because we've always done things that way. How can we move forward if we don't change some of the things that we're doing? Does that ring a bell with anyone? And yes, I mentioned change, which I talked about a short while ago in terms of embracing change, because change is inherent in evolution. And if there is no change, there is no movement forward. Now, this is, again, the kinesiology is a physical manifestation of testing muscles. And as I said, many, many ways. I personally do the thumb and the middle finger together and attempt to pull them apart. And I ask questions. Now, the questions that we ask are very significant. The way that they are asked, it may be even more significant. So the simpler the questions are, the better or more accurate your answers will be. Again, understanding that this is not a mental process. This is a process of accessing your inner knowledge, of getting out of the head and into the heart. And that's, to me, where the journaling comes in. As we begin writing and just allow our brain or whatever, our hand, our pen to move, just aimlessly writing for a while. After a few minutes, first it's going to come all from the brain. But after a few minutes, we will then begin to actually get into what is going on. And you may learn many things about yourself that you did not know previously. This can be confirmed when we do the kinesiology. It's, to me, well, Remember, I was a math teacher and I like to try things more than one way. So it is very, very helpful. Some of the things that turn up in my journal, I'm shocked when I read them. I feel like there's no way I wrote those things. I'm not feeling those things, but when I muscle test, when I use the kinesiology, it's confirmation. And so this is a habit that we are all going to develop. The more we use it, the better we become. And the more often we check in, that's one of Stephen's favorite things to say. Have you checked in with yourself to see where your energy is? Have you checked in with yourself to see where your grounding is? Have you checked in with yourself to see if you've taken on anything from others? Have you checked in? So this is something that, again, is a learning process to remember to do these things and to do them often. Have you checked in to see where your boundaries are? Now, he and I kind of do this on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, you may prefer to have a different scale, but we'd love to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being very little and 10 being the best or off the top. May not be the best if it's things that you're taking on that are not part of who you are. So whatever your scale is, make sure that you understand it and practice it and actually play with it. Have fun with it. This is not a test. This is a method of accessing your heart energy, your connection with the source. It is not an exercise in testing your mental acuity in any way. So as we move forward, I'm going to use highest potential again because it just always brings things together for me, and I'm going to intend that I reach my highest potential and that I learn more about myself every single day, and that each day becomes more and more in harmony. I don't like things to be disharmonious. Is that a word? I love harmony in my life. I actually love balance. There was a time in my life that I did not like the word balance. I called it the B word. However, balance is what it's all about, that perfect balance, the perfect balance of giving and receiving, the perfect balance of everything being in harmony, the positives, the negatives, everything being in harmony. So the last blend I'm going to apply today is one that I use many times every day, my belief shower, because I truly believe that each one of us has the ability to access our own inner knowledge and our own ability to understand who we are. So as we move forward, we become stronger and stronger and more of our authentic self. And hopefully it will become easier and easier as we increase the number of skills, the number of tools in our little toolbox. So that's what we are going to be doing over the next weeks. We're going to be adding tools to our toolbox. I have this mental image of carrying my little toolbox with me. However you think about it, actually maybe my oil bag is my toolbox. So Have a fun week filled with lots and lots of new understanding of who you are, new ways of accessing your inner knowledge and your connection with the source. And I'll see you next week.